What's up guys, real quick I want to talk about artificial light using a 3-point light setup. This is one of the first things they'll teach you in film school is how to light a subject using 3 lights. Those 3 lights are your key light, which is your main light, your fill light, which fills in the other side, and your back or hair light, which is usually behind and above you to give you some backlight to separate your subject from your background. Now I'm currently being lit just by the light in my room, so I can show you the difference it makes to have a nice 3-point light setup. So I'm now going to turn off my room light and turn on my 3-point light setup. And as you can see, it makes a big difference in making this image look a lot more professional by using a 3-point light setup instead of just the room light. Now, as far as equipment goes, the lights that I'm using right now is the Econ LED 3-light setup kit that I got off of B&H for about $1,200. I highly recommend it because it allows you to adjust the brightness manually along with the color balance so that if you're shooting outside, you can go up to 5600 Kelvin to match daylight, or if you're inside, you can put it all the way down to 3200 Kelvin to match tungsten light. Not to mention you can run them off of batteries so you can be completely mobile without having to plug into anything. And because they're LED lights, they don't heat up, so they're not going to burn you or overheat your subject. Now, if that's out of your price range, you can get a nice lighting setup off of Amazon for less than $100. Or find 3 lamps around your house and do your own makeshift 3-point light setting kit. Now for this setup you're looking at right now, I have my key light up to 100% brightness, about 45 degrees from the camera, and about 6 feet removed from my subject. This is your strongest light. Your key light is your main light that is putting the most amount of light on your subject. And then my fill light is about 45 degrees on this side from my camera, and about 6 feet removed, except I have this turned down to 50% brightness and living up to its name to just fill in some light on this side. And then my hair light or my backlight is overhead and about 1 foot behind me, shining straight down, and is also at 50% brightness, bringing in a nice halo behind my shoulders and head to help separate me from the background. Now I want to show you the effect that each light has independently, so I'm going to go ahead and shut off my fill light and my hair light so you can see just what my key light is doing. So as you can see, this is the brightest light in the set. When the other lights are shut off, it gives a very high contrast, dramatic look, and sometimes you want this kind of look for your films. But without a fill light and a backlight, I kind of get lost over here where there's a lot of shadows and you can't really distinguish me from the background. So a key light on its own can be good for a very dramatic look, but because this interview isn't very dramatic, probably not the best look. Now I'm gonna shut off my key light and turn on my fill light so you can see what this light's doing on its own. Again, my fill light is only up to 50% brightness, so it's clearly not doing as much to my subject as far as lighting it goes. It's just there to fill in some light on this side and make it less contrasty and less dramatic. Now let's shut off my fill light and turn on my hair light. And you'll see that the hair light is doing a good job of creating distance between me and the background by giving me a nice outline on my shoulders and head and making me pop out from the background. Now let's go ahead and turn all 3 lights back on. And to show you what it would look like to have just the key light and fill light with no hair light, I'm now going to turn off the hair light so you can see the difference that he's making. This setup is fine and it works, but again, I kind of get lost in the background and you can't really distinguish where my head ends and the background begins. So when possible, it's good to add some backlight to help outline your subject. Now as the last combination, I'm going to shut off my fill light and put on my hair light so we have just a key and hair light. Again, this is going to give you a higher contrast, more dramatic look. This can work if that's what you're going for, but if you want more even light on your subject, you're going to want all 3 lights on. So let's pop our fill light back on. And now I want to make things even less dramatic and bring our fill light up to 100% brightness to match the brightness of our key light so you can see what it looks like to have a completely even image on both sides of your subject. So now key and fill are both on full brightness, giving a brighter, happier, more commercial-esque like look to your image. And this may be the desired look you're going for. So don't get too caught up in the exact positioning of your lights and the exact brightness of each light. Be creative with it and do what looks best to you and the vibe that you're trying to create for your film. So that's pretty much it, guys, for the basics of artificial lighting using a 3-point light setup. If you guys have any further questions, please let me know.